Keep your Cardinals slander over there, my guy.
All right,
and don't hate on the Chiefs.
All right, everybody, we are live. Welcome to the Dan Show. I got a Friday night threesome. What every guy wants, a threesome with two guys. I got the Homeland. I got the Red Sea. Man, it's going to be a great show. I am very excited. I am over 63% sure I am not on cocaine. So I'm very, very jacked up, very excited to do the show, man. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing good.
I mean, just an amazing preseason game, so I'm pretty good.
Just so everyone knows, we did not come up with a name idea. That is the guy all the way to the left. We didn't do that.
The guy all the way to the left, the only guy with the camera on. You want to talk to somebody about that? Talk to him, not us.
And you know what? I have to make a confession. I told you guys I was going to sign up, get the streaming service ready to go. That way I could start watching the preseason games. I did not do that. I am going to do that tonight. I lied to you guys. I'm sorry. I'm stalling signing up, basically saving money because the more videos, if you haven't noticed, the more videos I do, the more teams I like, and I am saving up. I am going to put some action down. It looks like just a few days before the Tampa Bay game, I'm making a trip planned. I'm being cryptic. I'm being cryptic with the details, but you guys, I'll video everything and show you guys all the details. Anyway, I got Funk in the house here, who is not happy about his Lions. 3 and out on the first drive, horrible throw on first down, maybe a 2-yard gain on a run.
Sewell was getting bullied. I'm watching the game right now. Sewell was getting bullied.
Sewell's getting the one thing I would say, and this was something I was kind of worried about when it comes to Sewell, is that this was not a Jonathan Ogden, Orlando Pace type of guy. This was a guy who has massive upside.
I still thought he was tackle 1, but I mean, if Gregory Rousseau can destroy him for a sack, then I don't know, man.
I hate Gregory Rousseau. Practice. He's going to need some reps, and I think he's going to need some time. I still don't think it's a bad pick. And I wouldn't worry about it too much. And the reason why I say is that this is a building block for the future. All right. This is your very first pick. It was number 7 overall. Even if he has a rough rookie season, you're hoping he's going to be a stalwart on the right side for the next 10 to 12 years. I mean, that's kind of the long-term goal here. So Funk, I wouldn't worry too much about it. But I've been telling you guys in Detroit, like you're on the right path, but I would not be expecting a very good 2021 season.
I can't say anything because the Cardinals are going to find a way to lose in Detroit. No matter how bad they're going to be, the Arizona Cardinals are going to find a way to lose. They'll find the most random way to lose. We would have beat you if our kicker wasn't complete dog water.
Listen, we're not going to talk about that. That was last season. This is 2021.
All right, well, all right, whatever.
And Jimmy, I welcome Jimmy. I'm glad you're here, and I know you're looking forward to some of my gambling picks here, and hopefully you've been paying attention. I've had some. This week I gave 3 videos, and 2 of them are teams I really like to put action down on. So I know you're going to be excited for that. And he puts in here, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Keep in mind everything is brand new for the coaching staff and the players, so it's to be expected that they aren't going to come out balling. Yeah, but it's a rough start. Hey, listen, don't worry too much about preseason. I could give you 100 examples of why preseason doesn't matter. The number one thing is that you are looking for is you don't want injury. So, and Funk is, he's not one of the guys. There is a Lions fan on my boy Luke G's show who is screaming 10 wins, and I was like, oh, wow.
See, that's the kind of delusion that you don't get from me in Homeland. That's the kind of delusion you don't get.
In case you get that from
get that from Cowboys fans. For all you Cowboys fans out there, you get that all the time.
All year. Steelers fans too.
Last year,
Steelers fans too.
You said it was your year last year. It's not.
You will get that. And I'm going to start off here. And one of the things I lied to you guys about, because last week we talked about Xavier Howard, and I came on the show and I said, well, he'll probably be traded when I come on next week. And I really thought it made a lot of sense for the Dolphins to trade him. They drafted Noah Igba, Noah Smith,
Igbenogany.
I can't get the name right for the life of me, but it made a lot of sense to me. That was the pick that you ended up getting from Green Bay. Green Bay switched from 30 to 26 so you can get Jordan Love, which was a great draft pick for the Packers. Hopefully you detected the sarcasm in there. But you had a guy you took in the first round. You spent all that money on Byron Jones. Of course, you're going to get rid of Xavier Howard. You got rid of Minkah Fitzpatrick. You got rid of Laramie Tunsil. You're just going to add a bunch of draft picks. You're getting a bunch of draft picks from San Francisco. It made a lot of sense that you're going to move on from Howard, even if you didn't get a first-round pick. So when they signed him to an extension, I was floored. Homeland, since you are a Patriots fan, I got to ask, what is your opinion of the extension, and does this shift the balance of power in the AFC East? Because when I had you on, you said the Bills were the top dog. Is that still true?
As much as I, hate the Buffalo Bills and hate to say this, the Buffalo Bills are still the top team in the AFC East. That's undeniable. They definitely still have all the pieces for their team. I think they could use a bit more pass rushing. They drafted a couple guys. I forgot who they drafted.
They drafted Rousseau out of Miami.
Yeah, they drafted Rousseau and Basham, I'm pretty sure.
They got the guy out of Wake Forest. I'm going to do the video Monday.
Yeah, Carlos Basham.
Yeah,
but,
I really like that guy. Also,
Buffalo is still definitely the top dog in the AFC East. With the addition of Xavier Howard, I do think Miami has a slight edge over New England. I watched the preseason game last night, and I think one of our biggest weaknesses, aside from Henry Lengi and Cash Maluia, is definitely our 2-minute defense. I feel like if Buffalo, Miami, or New York, comes out and runs that offense against us, we're going to struggle a lot. Red Sea and I, we actually talked about it last night. Our pass rush as a whole looks a lot better than it was last year.
I was really high on Josh Uche, and I'm actually kind of excited about watching Uche. And then you also got Ronnie Perkins. I don't know how much
Perkins was putting so much pressure on those Redskins QBs. It wasn't even funny.
They're not the Redskins anymore.
It's the same thing. Shut up. But Washington as a whole definitely was put a lot under pressure, a lot from Ronnie Perkins. I don't know if you saw, Corey, but you saw 51 a lot getting towards Steve Montez and Taylor Heineke. He was getting there. He may have not gotten any sacks, but he was definitely putting him under pressure, having to make him make the tough throws and forcing a lot of incompletion. So that's really good by him. But I do think Buffalo, going back to the main question, Buffalo definitely is going to have the top dog. If we can step up some main sections of our defense, maybe we can have a toe-to-toe with Miami. But right now, I still see Miami having a slight edge solely because they added Xavier Howard. I don't know how long the extension was.
I believe without looking it up, I believe it was 2 years, but just the simple fact that you got two legitimate number one corners and a former first round pick. I mean, you don't draft a guy 30th overall and think that, he's going to be, a dime back or just a special teams player.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to think that you're getting three number one corners. And I also like the fact that, it's a negative for Buffalo. I think Buffalo should have tried to be more of a balanced offense. It looks like they're content with just being a passing type of team. So Miami looks like they're mirroring what Buffalo's doing. Hey, you want to be a passing team? Well, we'll have a bunch of great corners and we'll attack you that way. And Red Sea, man, I know you're an NFC West guy, but what's your opinion here? Do you have one on the Xavier Howard extension? Is it that big of a deal?
Most Cardinals fans were diehard trade for Xavier Howard as soon as possible. I was realistic about this, and I didn't expect Xavier Howard to get traded. I expected him to get traded, but I didn't expect him to come to us.
No, I wasn't expecting that, but
I didn't expect the extension because he was adamant on his Twitter and Instagram that he wanted out of Miami.
I was seeing the same thing, and I really thought that when I came on to do the show that I thought he was going to be gone, and it made sense that he was going to be gone. Miami looked like they prepared for it.
Yeah, I don't know why Miami would extend it. Granted, he's a top, I'll say 10 corner, but I mean.
Wise choice. Very wise choice.
Yeah. Keep your Patriot slander to yourself.
I wasn't even going to talk about Patriot slander. What do you mean? I'm just saying it was a wise choice.
Well, out of the two, I thought Howard was better than Byron Jones.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Byron Jones is washed.
Easy.
Changed my mind.
I didn't think he was worth. If I remember the contract right, I thought
it was a huge deal,
$82.5 million, and I was like, I thought he was decent in Dallas, but remember he played safety and corner. I had no idea that they were really going to pay any. I didn't think Miami was going to pay him that much, but when they did give him that much money, I was like, okay, well, it's just a matter of time for Xavier Howard's gone, but apparently they're going to keep him around for another. Couple of years, which is interesting, but it also looks like they're mirroring the Bills, because the Bills look like they're content being a passing first offense, which I think is a mistake, but that's just my opinion.
Until they get a solid running back, I don't see them being a
Myles
running
Gaskin's
team.
not that guy. That's all I have to say about him. He's not.
Oh, we're talking about Miami or Buffalo?
Oh, I'm talking about Miami. Miami, if they try and go pass first, they need to get a number one guy at running back. That is a serious issue, because I personally do not think Myles Gaskin is the right guy, but that's just me.
I don't like either the Bills or the Miami Dolphins running backs, really.
What, Bills have Singletary and TJ Yeldon, if he's still there? I don't know if he's still there.
Don't they have Zach Moss still there?
And I liked Moss coming out of Utah, but he's not a number one running back.
Not yet, no.
No. I thought he was a guy, like, if he's your second running back on your team, that's great. The thing is, though, there's not really that much of a difference between Singletary and Moss. I mean, they're both guys. Not really. Their guys are 4.7 guys are more quick than fast. They're not big play threat. They're moved to yardsticks type of guys, but in the Bills' offense, it looks like it's going to be primarily one dimensional, which is if you're trying. I mean, let's face it, and I'm a Chiefs fan, so let's face it. If your goal is to beat Kansas City, I think you need to be more balanced offensively. Just my opinion.
Definitely.
Just my opinion.
I mean, Casey has the DBs to lock down the pass, and they also have the defensive line.
Not
the front seven as a whole, but not much anymore. Their linebacking core is god awful.
We drafted Nick Bolton out of Missouri in the second round, and Willie Gay, our second round pick from last year, is a phenomenal athlete. He has had I don't want to go on a rant here. It's just that he was a 5-star athlete coming out of high school. He only started 9 games for Mississippi State. So, I mean, we're banking on his potential.
Yeah, even that, though, the linebacker room still needs a lot of help.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, we're going to bank on Bolton and Gay, and that's something that next Friday I'm actually going to pay attention to quite a bit from, is the check out the Chiefs linebacking core, because you're 100% correct. So Jimmy chimes in, Singletary looking solid in preseason, but it's against the Lions, so I suppose anyone
he makes a good point.
I mean, he is not wrong. He is not. I don't see anything wrong with this statement.
Yeah, no. I don't either. Actually, Dan, I had a question for you.
Absolutely, let's do it.
And this is something I thought of from the I Am Athlete podcast. So Corey probably knows what question I'm going to ask. But what do you think is the difference between being an athlete and being athletic?
Oh, wow. You kind of got me stumped here. Normally, the difference I would think is that being an athlete versus being athletic would just be numbers. If you're athletic, you can do a variety of different things. Like, for example, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is athletic. I don't know if you saw the clips of him playing basketball or not, but like he could have played point guard at Texas Tech. There was a clip of him schooling guys like me on the gym. The gym's actually 5 minutes from this apartment, which is kind of cool. But as soon as the Chiefs saw it, they put in no more basketball. This was before the $500 million contract. But when you're an athlete, now I brought up Mahomes because Mahomes at the combine, if I remember correctly, ran a 5.0340. That's not very impressive. You're not calling that an athlete, all right? But is Patrick Mahomes athletic? The answer is yes. I mean, look at his skills on the basketball court. Look at some of the throws he makes. So I would say numbers, and that's just boom, shooting from the hip without you kind of blindsided me, which is a great question.
Yeah. The reason I ask is because there's a certain player who Corey and I have sort of a love-hate relationship with right now. Kicker Donald Delahaye, who played at UCF. They took his scholarship away because he chose YouTube. And he basically plays like a lot of positions, technically speaking.
He's a kicker and punter, but he could really play receiver, running back, DB.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He is like, think Marquette King on a bunch of steroids, except
he made an 80-yard field goal in one of his videos without wind, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
And he did his own combine with the I Am Athlete program. Wasn't signed,
House of Athlete by Brandon Marshall.
Yeah, House of Athlete, yeah.
Now, I just want to be very clear. This isn't the same place that was having all those guys with the ridiculous 40 times. It wasn't the one where like the wide receivers were doing 4.15 40s, is it?
No, I don't think so.
No,
I don't remember the
because
name.
Donald ran like a 4.4, but in reality he ran like a 4.3 when his foot crossed the line. If anything, the timer was delayed by about a millisecond. So that's just something I wanted to ask.
I'm actually kind of dying to check that out. I kind of want to check that out. If you don't mind, shoot me the link, and I'm going to kind of check.
Literally, just look up his Instagram, and you'll just. He would be a top 5 kicker without even kicking a ball.
He would probably give Justin Tucker a run for his money. That's how confident I am in him.
Wow. And he decided he wanted to go in a different route.
So he was doing YouTube while he was at UCF, and because he was making money off of YouTube, UCF said you can't be on the team anymore.
No, it's an NCAA violation.
It's
goofy. And
so he chose YouTube over college football, and
he's making money.
A lot of money. He's making a lot of money.
Making a ton of money.
No, I'm actually dying to check that out. But you said the debate was that you're calling him an athlete, but he's not athletic, or.
I can't remember exactly because I remember he was on the I Am Athlete podcast, which is with Chad Ochocinco, so Brandon Marshall,
Fred Taylor, and Channing something.
Yeah, something or other. And they were, they were talking to him, and I think it was Channing, but he was calling Donald athletic, but not an athlete solely because he was a kicker. And then they started getting into this argument on what the difference was between an athlete and being athletic.
That's actually kind of an interesting point. Like I said, I would use numbers, just simple statistics to make that argument. Because if you take a guy like Mahomes who runs a 5.03, that's not an athlete. But watch him throw the football, watch him play basketball, that's athletic. Or actually, I could switch the adjectives around. I could call him throwing the ball and him playing basketball an athlete, but he's not athletic because he runs a 5.03.
Right.
But there's a handful.
Yeah, just thought I'd throw that out there.
That's really a great point. Actually, I'm kind of dying to check that out. I'm going to check it out after the show. I would be curious because even though he can't play college football, he would be eligible if he wanted to play in the NFL. I'd be kind of curious.
Yep.
Want to try,
I'm pretty sure he was in the draft last year. I might be mistaken, but he might just be a free agent.
He's a free agent. He's just a free agent.
If there was a team out there that wanted, just some free publicity, I think it'd be
Cleveland. Dallas,
those are
Washington.
Exactly. Those are, to tell you the truth, Dallas would be the perfect team. I haven't even watched any of the Hard Knocks series yet.
Waste of time.
Is it not any good this year?
It's just not going to be good.
The last year with the 2 LA teams, it was just all it's a buzzword on YouTube, so I don't want to say it, but the C word, that's all they talked about. And I was like, look, I don't want to hear any of it. I'm sick of it. So I watched part of it. I watched the part when Keenan Allen went down, and I was kind of like, oh crap. Or not Keenan Allen, I'm sorry. The big safety out of Florida State. And Okay, 19 minutes in, I had my first brain freeze, but the strong safety, Derwin James,
Hey,
yeah, it took me about 10 to 15 seconds, but yes, and then
don't worry, it's easy to forget about him because he's hurt every year.
Pretty much.
He's been hurt the last 2 years, and I had a Chargers fan comment that they're definitely going to win 11 games and give the Chiefs a run for their money, and I was like,
maybe.
Yeah, I was like, but
giving them a run for their money when it comes to playing each other, that's different. But winning 11 games,
I think that even though they've played Kansas City, believe it or not, the Chargers have played Kansas City close, but are they in a position to give the Chiefs a run for their money as part of winning the AFC West? I don't think so at all. At least not this season.
At all.
And I don't know, but the clips coming out of the Chargers camp, I don't know who's throwing the passes that these DBs are knocking down and intercepting, but God, they cannot throw straight.
Really?
Everything's underthrown. Yeah. I don't know if it's Justin Herbert or if it's like the backup or something. If it's Justin Herbert, that's a problem.
I was worried because Joe Lombardi takes over as offensive coordinator. They had Pep Hamilton, who was a very notable quarterback coach, and I thought that was something that Anthony Lynn did a really good job, is that when they inserted Justin Herbert, they ran more of a college style offense. They kind of dumbed things down a little bit. They didn't run the same offense that they're planning on running with Tyrod Taylor. Now you're bringing in Joe Lombardi. I don't know if he's just going to say, hey, look, here's the whole playbook, let's go, or if he's just going to implement some of the college schemes. To the best of my knowledge, Lombardi is not known to run a college-style offense, but Pep Hamilton was able to implement that. And I forget who the offensive coordinator was. I think Pep Hamilton was the quarterback coach. I could be wrong about that.
I don't know. I don't know many staffs around the league.
Yeah.
Besides my own.
Yeah, besides my own. I don't really know.
This is why I want fans from all 31 fan bases to come in, because I know a few coaches here and there, but I mean, if you took a random team, I'm not going to know the whole coaching staff. So, but one thing I do want to ask is that if you had a chance to, I definitely want to know what you think of my videos. But one of the things I'm going to ask, I'm going to start with Red Sea, because it's definitely a question directed towards you and your Cardinals. As of today, as of right now, without doing a list, I would say that Kyler Murray might be my favorite for MVP. I know you're a Cardinals fan, so
I did see this in your video. I did see this in your video.
Mm-hmm.
I did not comment because A, I did not have enough time, and B, I was just kind of like, I pretty much agreed with everything, so I was like, oh, okay, I'll just leave a like and then move on with my life. Yeah, I mean, Kyler was, as much as people don't want to admit it, Kyler was on pace for 4,000 passing yards and 1,000 rushing yards last season. And at that point, if he gets that, I don't know how you keep the MVP trophy out of his reach. Besides putting it on the top shelf or something. But anyway, I don't see how you don't give him the MVP if he does that.
That's kind of my thought process, and I have to admit, I was hearing a lot of hype last year. I haven't been hearing as much this year.
I think only that's because, like, Patrick Mahomes in his second year, what does he do? Win the MVP. What was Carson Wentz going to do in his second year? He was going to win the MVP, but his ACL said, "Nah, I'm good." Lamar Jackson, his second year, won the MVP. Last year was Aaron Rodgers. We don't talk about that. They were trying to follow the first-round quarterback taking a huge leap in their second year, winning MVP, getting into the playoffs and all that. So that's really what that is. Because I imagine there's a quarterback who's a second year this year trying to become a MVP candidate. I'm just like, he definitely has the opportunity. We don't have as many primetime games this year. We only have like 3, maybe, I want to say. But, I mean, he has a chance.
No, I mean, I actually think he might be my favorite. And I know as a Chiefs fan, if there's some Chiefs fans watching, they'll be furious. But I don't see Rodgers going back-to-back. Now, if Josh Allen continues his ascent, and they're planning on throwing the ball quite a bit in Buffalo. So
I think it's going to be neck and neck between Mahomeboy, which is what Shannon Sharp calls him, Kyler Murray, and Josh Allen.
That's a good.
I think it's literally just going to be a photo finish. Who finishes the year better between those three?
I will say this, and I agree with you. If you go 4,000 and 1,000, it's
I personally don't see how you keep it away from them if you do.
I don't see how you can either. And Homeland, I got asked the same thing, man. I know it's hard for you to talk about the Cardinals, but I mean, what's your opinion, man? Should Kyler Murray be the favorite? Let me ask you that.
I'm gonna have to agree with that. There's not really I can say. I'm not gonna say anything about my team. My team has had an iffy quarterback situation. The only way Cam Newton even gets close to that is if he outplays everybody and goes back to 2015 Cam, which is not gonna happen. Anyways, I do think Kyler Murray is the favorite to win the MVP, at least in my eyes, as much as I hate to say that. And I swear to God, Corey is not going to let me live this down. He's probably writing something about it now.
If I was in the YouTube channel,
I would definitely have Kyler Murray winning MVP in my eyes. I mean, he almost had a 4,000, 1,000. Like, that's not something a lot of quarterbacks can do. Not including Lamar Jackson. He is a running back. Okay. He does not count.
Well, when he had his MVP season, and
he only had 3,000.
Looking at it, I think his passing yards is he had 36 touchdowns passing, but I think the yards was only 2,700. I mean,
he was in the 3,000s. He was barely in the 3,000s.
Yeah. He wasn't anywhere near 4,000.
No, I don't believe so. Anyway, I don't think so.
And it just without looking it up, but I know he wasn't anywhere near 4,000. I thought it was under 3,000. But there's a big difference between having over 1,000 yards rushing and 3,000 yards passing and 4,000 yards passing. I mean, 4,000 yards passing, even though it's commonplace in the NFL, when you combine that with 1,000 rushing. That's
incredible. That's 5,000 yards from scrimmage yourself.
That exactly, and just the big number that's never been done before. I think that would put him right now. Westgate Casino has it at 12-1 odds, plus 1,200. That's almost. I might actually put a little bit of action down on it. I'm getting 12-1 odds here. That's not bad at all. I got Alex in the chat. Welcome, brother. He's got a lot of news about Deshaun Watson, about what he may do going forward with the Texans and his legal suit. First of all, he's been taking First of all, if I can get my tongue untied.
English, it's a language we all speak.
Yes.
First of all, he's been taking practice with the team. He's behind the front seven, which will most likely start as in pads. No idea if he's going to be in preseason games, though it seems like they are going into it like he will play. And by the way, I've been adamant by saying this. He's going to come out of this. He's going to come out innocent, and I think he's going to play this year. I've been saying that for a while. It looks like, according to Alex, who's in Houston, I am right. And then he also puts in about Watson legal troubles, Houston Police Department, Harris County Court are investigating whether or not there's even enough evidence for a legal case, so that's pending as well. Hey, guys, here my boy Alex coming in from Houston, taking some time out from his Houston Astros. Do you have an opinion on the Deshaun Watson situation?
Listen. I think it's a smart move by Watson, personally. I think if you wanted to leave the team, you should have done it when the offseason started. I think it's way too late for you to leave now, because you leaving now means you have to completely adjust. You're pretty much going to be like Cam Newton when he first got signed to New England. You're going to be in a whole new scheme, which you have to learn an entirely new playbook, get used to an entirely new set of receivers. And that's not something that I personally think Watson is prepared for. So I'm thinking, you want to leave Houston, do it after the season. Doesn't matter if you make the playoffs.
I've been saying the same thing all along, but I think that he is going to play, and that could make the Houston Texans, who everybody thinks is going to be a terrible team. I think that AFC South could be absolutely terrible this year. And
it's Tennessee and a bunch of other people.
That's kind of what I'm looking at. Now there's talk about Carson Wentz maybe being able to start.
Didn't he tear his Achilles or something? Didn't he tear something?
They were saying 5 to 12 weeks, and then now Quentin Nelson, and I know they signed Eric Fisher, who ruptured his Achilles in the AFC Championship game. He's supposed to be a starting left tackle. The Colts have a ton of questions. I'm not sold on Tennessee. Jacksonville is going to be entertaining, but I have a hard time believing that they're.
Jacksonville's going to be like Arizona Jacksonville's going to be like Arizona a couple years ago. They'll win 5-6 games. They'll be competitive in most of their games, but the talent gap between their team and the teams they're going to play is just so much better.
I'll be honest. I think Houston with Deshaun Watson has a legitimate chance to actually.
Houston with Deshaun Watson has like an 11-win potential. Houston without Deshaun Watson, having 0 wins would be a miracle. It's bad.
And,
their team is so bad.
I think that with Watson, and I also like the fact that Lovie Smith coming in implementing the Tampa 2 offense. If you're not, I was in Kansas City with Romeo Crennel. Romeo Crennel's defense is insanely complex. Lovie Smith, his defense is basically like adding or grade school arithmetic as compared to Romeo Crennel's very complex defense. I think the Houston Texans defense has enough playmakers just to be average, where last year they were terrible. But it's banking a lot on a guy who's been in college for the last couple of years. But if he can get that defense to average with Watson, there's no reason they can't win 10 to 12 games.
Yeah, it'll make those receivers look a whole lot better than they actually are.
Yeah, and I mean,
you got that right.
Anthony Miller trade. I thought that was a smart move. And then Nico Johnson, their 3rd-round pick. He was a guy I was really hoping Kansas City.
Nico Collins, not Nico Johnson.
Nico Collins. All right, second name mistake.
You got the first name right. How about that?
He's been a standout wide receiver at training camp from what I've been hearing.
Oh, yeah. When I've seen him in camp, he looks phenomenal.
Yes, I've been seeing some clips, and I was thinking that he wouldn't look good this year. He sat out last year, so I thought, hey, it's going to take some time. But the clips I've been seeing, he looks like a number 1.
Granted, it's against the Texans DBs, which aren't that great. But it's the effort that counts. He looks great in camp. I would like to see a preseason game of Nico Collins. Yeah, I don't know when the Texans
another
play.
team's DBs rather than playing the same DBs like you do.
Yeah, rather than playing your complete garbage DBs. How about play somebody who has skill. How about that?
Well, it'll be interesting to watch him in preseason. Alex puts on back to him and the Texans. He is not expected to be traded, and the Texans front office does not seem to budge on that issue. They're going
to have to make a choice because he does not want to be there.
No, he doesn't. And
he wants no part of them.
If you're the Houston Texans, I would say under no circumstances trade him this year. But if you can get, an arm and a leg for him next year, I think you definitely want to keep your options open. Let's just throw out some hypothetical, situations. When if you can get a 1st-round pick and Chase Young from the Washington football team, when if you can get something like that.
That's
I don't think they give up Chase Young. I think they give up one of the other 17 first-round picks they have on their defense.
They got on that defensive line, they got Jonathan Allen. They have Montez Sweat. I can't think of the other Alabama 1st-round pick they got as the defense.
I can't think of the other guys, but I know those guys.
Yeah.
Matthew Ioannidis.
Matt Ioannidis, and then Ryan Kerrigan was the last one.
Ryan, well, they got rid of Kerrigan. He's in Philly now.
Okay. Now they're down to 4 first-round picks on their D-line.
It's only 4. I can't think of the other one. It's Jonathan Allen and then another defensive tackle.
Oh, Deron Payne.
Deron Payne, yes. And then so both those guys, Alabama defensive tackles. The whole defensive line is just phenomenal. But let's just say Washington says, you know what? Hey, look, Chase Young, 1st-round pick. Watson doesn't want to be there. It would be interesting. I mean, we could sit here and talk about scenarios all day, but I am on board. I don't think, and if I'm advising Watson, I'm saying, look, stay in Houston at least this year, and if you want to play hardball next year, play hardball next year. But look, if he takes Houston to the playoffs, you can ask. Not only can you ask for a trade, you could probably get out of that contract and get bigger money.
I mean, if he wants to play really hardball, he can demand his release. That probably won't happen. But if he gets released, he's gonna have a ton of money. But being released, probably not going to happen.
No, I mean, if he is going to leave, he'll definitely be in a trade. But like I said, I think that if I'm Houston, I definitely would play hardball and say, look, not this year. And if I'm Watson, it's in your best interest to go ahead and stay in Houston. Now I'm going to get back on track here. I do want to ask, because I admit I didn't watch the game. But Highland, me and you talked before the show. We talked a little bit about the Patriots. I want to know, as a Patriots fan, what stood out to you in the first preseason game? Did anything stand out at all? Is it not that big of a deal because Bill Belichick's not going to show anything, or is there some things that you're very excited about?
So it's more like certain players, and Corey can back me out on this because he was the first one who talked to me about it. Kristen Wilkerson. Okay. Let me tell you about Kristen Wilkerson. Kristen Wilkerson was making all the catches in the preseason.
He dropped one, but I put that one on Mac then more than
that one was on Mac. He was going off. Really great route running. He was getting open, creating separation. Another player,
strong
JJ Taylor. Oh my God. JJ Taylor is about the size of Dion Lewis, but has the trucking speed of Derrick Henry. I kid you not.
Isn't he smaller than Derek Lewis or Dion Lewis?
He's smaller than Dion Lewis, who in fact retired today. I actually just saw that on ESPN. Yeah, but JJ Taylor stood out a lot. I love JJ Taylor. And one of my favorite players out of that game was Romandre Stevenson. Came in around. He got a few reps in the first half, but he really started to kick it up a notch in the fourth quarter, specifically with having that 91-yard touchdown. He was the only person who scored in that game. Scored 2 touchdowns. Really stood out especially the power running game. That man does not get tackled. Like I said in our Patriots stream, like Garrett Blount Jr. That's exactly what he looks like to me.
You saw the clip about him running over a couple Patriots players.
Oh yeah,
the sideline. Just if you haven't seen the clip, I probably should put it in the description below. But I watched that, and what was almost more impressive than the run. I don't know if you noticed this, but on the sideline, the whole team just got electrified. I mean,
of course,
you could tell that like the Patriots team really likes this kid, and the reason why you didn't hear too much about him is he didn't play that much, but he was MVP at the Cotton Bowl. Now, in all fairness, Florida had about, I think, 5 or 6 players the week before. I think it was maybe a week or 2 before.
It was a lot. I'm a Florida fan. It was a lot.
6 or 7 players that sat out. So, I mean, you can use that as an excuse, but still, I mean, he looked like a man among boys in that game.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, he looked, and then it looks like it's translating towards the pros, and I mean, I think when we talked, I think we both agree Damian Harris is going to be running back number 1.
Running back number 1.
But I mean, is Stevenson in danger of taking some of that running back number 2 away? This
is what I think, because I honestly think that. I think because I watched the difference, because Sony Michel and
Sony Michel did not look
Stevenson,
good.
He did not look good at all. Like Romandre and Sony are close to being similar builds. Romandre is more of a power back. Sony Michel is more of an elusive power back. But Romandre can get open and make the plays if he needs to. That's the big thing. And I was watching, and Sony Michel just did not look like a number 1 running back, nor did he even look like a number 2 running back. So I've been thinking, like, because it's been rumored, starting from the beginning of the offseason, is Sony Michel going to get released, or is he going to get traded? Knowing Bill Belichick, he's probably going to try and trade him for max value at the trade deadline, because that's Bill Belichick for you.
I think that would be a great move as Stevenson.
It would, because we could definitely get something out of it. It wouldn't be a first-round pick. It wouldn't be a first-round pick.
No.
It'd be like
a second or third, maybe.
Yeah, second or third. Very late second.
That might be very generous. You might just to get rid of him, you may just want to get a 5th or a 6th, some sort of throwaway pick. But that's only if you got a guy like Stevenson. But for those of you who don't know, I love Damian Harris. It's just that, was he as good as Derrick Henry in Alabama? No, he wasn't, but that doesn't mean he can't be a legitimate top 10, 15 back in the NFL. I don't think I'm over exaggerating.
He started during the Chiefs game, I believe. That was when he got his first actual start, because I know he came in after Michel got injured. That's another thing. That's another reason why I think Michel's not going to be here. He gets injured way too much. He had his 1,000-yard rushing season and then got injured the next 2 seasons.
Well, Belichick's not a sentimental guy, but I do remember the
absolutely not.
Bowl that they won. I remember it in Kansas City. I was at the game that him and Burkhead just ran right over Kansas City. I mean, I knew immediately that first drive, they did not do anything creative. It was just Tom Brady handing the ball left, handing the ball right. They ran right with the middle. Everybody in the stadium knew it. And that first drive they ran for a touchdown, I knew it was over. And people want to blame D Ford or the referees, but bottom line,
the worst roughing the passer call I think I've ever seen. This man put his hand on his shoulder and got flagged. What is this?
Speaking of the Patriots playing the Chiefs, N'Keal Harry caught that ball. It was inbounds and it should have been a touchdown. That.
I'm a Chiefs fan. I'll give that to you, but I still think
that was stupid.
But the one thing I tell Chiefs fans is that you could blame all those plays, but if I remember the numbers correctly, I think it was 174, maybe it was 176 rushing yards. In the AFC Championship game, you can't give, but let's just say over 170. Because I think the Chiefs ran for, 30 that game. And you can't allow a team to run for over 170 yards. And afterwards, Chiefs fired their defensive coordinator. So.
Yeah, you just can't do that. Even if, there were some very bad calls.
I think in every playoff game in that Super Bowl run. And then since then, he hasn't been able to stay healthy. And
that's exactly what I think is going to get traded. I think our 4 running backs, because I know we're going to have 4 because we always have 4. It's going to be Damian Harris, Romandre Stevenson, J.J. Taylor, and probably somebody else. I don't know who, but it's going to be somebody else.
Isn't James White still there?
Oh, yeah, James White. James White's probably going to be the guy who comes in on most of the screen passes because, he's one of the best receiving backs in the NFL. We don't talk about that. Anyways, but he is definitely the Patriots receiving back. By far, there's nothing. There's not really anybody who can take that role from him. At least in my honest opinion.
That's going to be an interesting. That's going to be an interesting conversation, because Sony Michel's a big name, a first-round draft pick, and there are going to be some interest in trading for him because running back is a position. There's lots of running backs to get hurt. So, I think that we could hear quite a bit about that. And that's kind of the reason why I'm glad that we're talking about this now, is that we have the inside scoop here, and we're advertising it to everybody who's on the show tonight that, hey, look, Sony Michel's on the trading block. If you need a running back, he has been injured, but he has been productive at times, and he helped the Patriots win a Super Bowl. So NFL teams needing a running back, take a look at New England.
He's probably going to turn out just like Kenyon Drake. He's going to be like the backup running back, get traded at the trade deadline, go off for the back half of the season, and then be complete garbage for that next team.
Dog water.
Kenyon Drake is so bad. Raiders fans, have fun. He's your problem now.
Well, I have a hard time believing that he's a serious threat to Josh Jacobs. And I even heard that they're going to use him as a wide receiver, which I think it's just Gruden.
He got bricks for hands would be being nice. His hands are garbage. He don't have hands. This man couldn't catch anything. He couldn't even catch COVID.
And then I got told.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
We got Funk here talking about Barnes looks fast against these backups. I already say he's going to take Jamie. By the way, if you don't know, I can't think of his first name, but Barnes is the 4th round pick out of Purdue. I don't know much about him, but Funk likes him. And Jamie Collins is another big name free agent that could be on the chopping block, something that we're kind of looking at. Alex says with Taylor behind the front 7, Houston will win 6. By the way, the over-under is only 4. Over-under is only 4. Something to pay attention to. I don't know if it's gone up. But
guarantee none of those will be division games.
Though Houston will be bad, there'll be many upsides. The D would be better with a simpler scheme. There's a few really good players in Cooks and Collins, basically a veteran in front 7.
Cooks, when healthy, is actually a pretty decent receiver, but the key word is healthy.
Yeah. That's the key word. That never works with him.
Look at what he did in the Saints. Injured. Look. One season with the Patriots. Injured in the Super Bowl. Got rocked.
Oh, he got destroyed by Malcolm Jenkins.
Good Lord.
I actually remember watching Brandon Cooks at Oregon State. Absolutely loved him. It was actually funny. He won the 40-yard dash. He ran the fastest 40-yard time at the combine. He ran 4.33, and Adidas was going to give, I think it was Adidas. I may have the shoe companies mixed up. Adidas was going to give $100,000, to whoever ran the fastest 40 time at the combine, but he wore Nike, so he he wore the wrong, so he missed out on $100,000.
Imagine missing $100,000 because you wore a different shoe.
Exactly, and that's what happened to him. But I loved his game coming out of college, and then he ran the 4.33. It's just he cannot stay healthy. And Alex says Houston's probably asking for 3 first or high round picks and up to 2 starting players. Not insane for Watson in the slightest. So the medium loves to say trade him no matter what. And Alex, you're 100% correct. I think that Houston, the only way they're going to go ahead and trade him is for something crazy. I just threw it out there, Chase Young and some draft picks. But I think Chase Young is could be a generational type player.
He's going to be great.
Yeah, he looks like a superstar. But yeah,
especially with that supporting cast around him on that D line. Good luck blocking him.
Exactly. That's going to be a fun defensive line to watch. As a matter of fact,
unless you're playing them.
Well, we got I'm kind of going to bring up the NFC kind of here. I want to ask Corey about this here. The Cardinals and Cowboys are going to play later tonight. Is there anything special that you're going to pay
58 minutes
to? It's in 15 minutes?
58 minutes. 58 minutes.
Yeah, you got it down. Yeah, you got it. I think we'll be wrapped up before then, but I want to know, is there anything in particular that you're going to look for in this game?
A few things. Number one is Rondale Moore, because Rondale Moore has been torching our back end, which includes Budda Baker, in training camp. He looks phenomenal in training camp, making crazy catches and all the whatnot. I really want to see Rondale Moore versus defenses. I really want to see that. I'm going
to tune in. Just Rondale Moore, 2nd round draft pick out of Purdue, super athlete. If I remember right,
he's the guy who single-handedly beat Ohio State. He's that guy.
Single-handedly beat Ohio State, 3 touchdowns against Ohio State. Phenomenal athlete. Had some injury issues. 2nd round pick. And I'm sorry, Corey, I cut you off. But for those of you that don't know, Rondale Moore, super athlete, had some issues staying healthy.
The second thing are 2 rookie corners, Tay Gowan and Marco Wilson. Because Marco Wilson has been repping with the first team pretty much the last 3 weeks in a row. So if he comes out and he starts over, say, Robert Alford or Byron Murphy, that would impress me alone. Just keep him away from shoes. I'm a Florida fan. I remember that game. I was very upset with him. Very upset. Lastly, I want to just see a field goal made. Matt Prater, I'm looking at you. Don't let me down. I just went through Zane Gonzalez. Please don't make me go through this again. I just need a kicker in my life. Please. Thank you. Moving on. Oh, boy.
All right, so let me see here. So we got let me see if I remembered everything. Rondale Moore, a player that I absolutely loved going to the Cardinals because
great scheme fit. I wanted Elijah Moore, but I was okay with Rondale Moore.
For those of you, and Rondale Moore, even though he's going to play wide receiver, he's if I remember right, he's like 5'6", 5'7". He's
shorter. I think he's just as tall, if not maybe 1 or 2 inches shorter than Kyler.
Exactly. Basically, he's going to play wide receiver, but I think you're going to see some running back.
He's going to be our slot receiver, basically.
Yes, and they're going to use him on the end of rounds. You have to answer this for me, because when I saw that he was drafted, I assumed he was going to be the punt and kick returner.
Yep, guaranteed. Because we haven't had a kick returner since Andre Roberts, John Brown, maybe, I guess. No, it's been a while. Our last special teams return, that was like a kick or a punt, not just a block, was David Johnson, the week 2 of 2015, the opening kickoff.
I actually remember. I can't believe I remember that. But yeah,
that's the last time we've had a kick return. It's been painful.
And then we got, let me see here if I remember right, Marco Wilson.
And Tay Gowan.
And then, so Tay Gowan, you said, was it Tay Gowan or Wilson that was?
Wilson's a shoe thrower. Tay Gowan's more of the quiet, reserved. He only took this year off because of his family. Because he didn't want to get.
He said was playing with the first team.
Marco Wilson's been playing with the first team these last few weeks.
All right, and if I remembered the incident correctly, correct me if I'm wrong. Wilson.
Oh my God, we're going through this.
And I got
a 15-yard taunting penalty, or maybe it was 10 yards. I don't know. That cost Florida the game against LSU.
Yes. LSU. They
pain.
This was a win, and Denver Gator, who is I haven't seen him in the house. He could probably verify that as well.
Hold on, please.
What's up, Dan? The title said something about threesome, so I had to tune in. Welcome, Music City guy. Yes, it's what every guy wants. 2 guys in a threesome. It's the best thing in the world. So
we did not. This is not our idea. The guy on the left with the camera, that's him. That's his idea.
And it's going to, and then the not safe for YouTube is going to be shown on my OnlyFans, but you have to pay for that. So, just a dirty hit on the Lions' backup quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know if he's out or he got rolled up on bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm obviously watching the game. It was like 15 minutes ago or so. He got rolled up on bad. I honestly thought he tore his Achilles when I first saw the play. It was bad.
I thought I was caught up on comments, but I'm actually a little behind here. The Texans aren't dumb anymore. No.
Debatable.
If Watson is going to be traded, it's going to be for a lot of value, and it's not going to be this year, but it's going to be another very interesting 2022 season. But I've been telling everybody he's going to be innocent. He's going to play, and I think he's going to play for Houston this year. The only question is, what's going to happen in 2022. But it also makes betting opportunities for the Houston Texans. At last I looked, it was over under was 4. With Watson,
that's going up.
It's going to go up. Take advantage if you can. Funk says what I saw of Mac Jones looked nice. Some of the clips
he looked good. I didn't like his arm strength, but he looked good in that game.
Well, what the clips I saw is number one, in Belichick's offense, you don't want to make any mistakes. But the thing that stood out to me, and I'd love to know Homeland's opinion, 13, he looked like the game wasn't too big for him. I mean, he looked like he belonged in the NFL. He didn't look nervous. Sometimes you get a player that, even though it's preseason, it's still the NFL.
Yeah, and they blow their debut.
Like he belonged. He looked like he belonged. He looks like, hey, look, I'm capable of being a starting caliber NFL quarterback. So, this is a 4th for we were just
Michelle. Michelle.
Michelle. Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. That might even be high, but don't be surprised. And I agree, it could happen in the season. 13-3.
Yep.
All right, Mike. It's preseason, scores don't matter, but Amon-Ra St. Brown looks solid against the ones, and Barnes has looked okay. 2 4th-round picks, and
I loved Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I mean, guys, you're the Lions. Please do not become the Cowboys. For the love of God.
Starting the game against the Packers in preseason, and that makes a lot of sense. You got to get Tyrod Taylor as much playing time as you can. You're not worried about Deshaun Watson. I know as a Chiefs fan, I don't even want to see Patrick Mahomes at all in preseason, but I think the second game he may play a little bit. Mike says,
which is against who.
Mike, did you put any action down on the games? If you don't want to tell publicly, shoot me a message. You can always email me directly to Mike, but let me know if you put any action down on the preseason games. Because if you are, I definitely want you to tell me. Alex has to drop up, so he's doing something for the Astros-Angels game, so I'll be dropping out. Alex, I understand, but once baseball season's over, I know you'll be here full time. I understand completely. Why it doesn't tell you anything. Bill Cowher literally run the ball only because he was happy with his run game. Lions went 4-0, then 0-16 scores. I mean, okay. Yeah, he's putting action down. Denver Gator in the house. We were talking about, we brought up a very bad Florida.
He's probably gone now. That's probably an old comment. He's probably gone now.
Might be. Randall has already had 2 lower leg injuries in college. I wanted nothing to do with him. He did, but
are you talking about Rondale or?
Yeah, he's talking. Here's the deal, though. At his pro day, I think it was like a 44 or something crazy vertical, and then he ran a 4.25. And
his vertical was like
it was something crazy.
I know Marco Wilson literally outjumped the thing. I know that.
Yeah,
I know. Rondale's is pretty crazy too, but his squat
was phenomenal. I want to say 4.25, and I want to say 42 or it was something crazy. It was over 40. I know that for a fact. And this is also a big reason why you joined the show is because I will help you make money. Mike also has some excellent gambling tips. Mike was somebody who also turned me on to Coastal Carolina very early, I think August of last year. So this show will help you make some money. And then Denver is still around, even though we talked about.
Again, these are old comments. He's probably not around anymore.
No, he might not be. And Alex puts on, Dan is giving us an OnlyFans preview on his YouTube channel. All we're missing is the that's not fixed. It's over. No, and I slammed an energy drink just right before I came on. And like
full of cocaine, but we don't talk about that.
On cocaine. Yep. I'm over 63% sure of that, but I do have coffee, and my neighbors are throwing bowling balls down on the ground again.
That's not me. Don't look at me. I don't do it.
Look at me.
No, and we're hey, listen, Funk, we're going to help you make some money this year because I know it's sports betting is in available in Michigan, and I'm surprised over. Yes, not only has it been available, Music City Guy, it stayed available and has dropped. It went from 4.5. It's now 4. But I have to admit, I haven't looked at the Houston Texans in the last couple of days. It may be skyrocketing up. So, and Denver Gator wants to know which one of these studs says they're a Florida fan.
That would be me. I am holding out hope that we can draft Brenton Cox in next year's draft, and when he breaks out, I am holding out hope.
Yeah, he's not going to have 42 sacks in a season.
Okay, that was Madden. Leave me alone.
No.
By the way, me and Alex do have a Madden franchise. We're starting up Madden 22.
I put both your Instagrams in the comments below, so follow these guys. If anyone of you guys plays Madden, please
Xbox. We are men of culture. No PlayStation.
Yeah, we don't do that PlayStation crap. I'm sorry. Sorry.
You know what? I don't play that much anymore, but I do have a 360 behind.
We don't blame you. We don't blame you. Madden's garbage. We don't blame you.
Bad. We're sitting here just praying.
I didn't know you were a Florida fan, and we didn't even bring up OU in Texas and SEC. But that's
Oklahoma's going to get murdered. Oklahoma does not have the defense for that.
No, they do not. But I will say this: I don't think that they're going to be terrible, but their national championship. Oklahoma's always talked about the national championship because they play a very weak Big 12, which is going to go away completely. But I think you're looking at, if you're an OU fan, get used to 7-5, 8-4 once you hit that.
Get used to a lot of points being scored. A lot. Just get used to that for a little bit because it's gonna happen. Just get used to it.
And Funk says, I have no faith in golf, so don't worry. I'm looking at building blocks for the future. Well,
hey, man, someone with common sense.
It's only
he's not that guy.
I can't say anything because he's perfect against me. I can't say anything.
Well, okay. Well, you act like Aaron Donald did not carry him to beat you.
Actually, no. Goff is not. We have one win against Jared Goff. It was in his rookie year when we beat him 44-3. They were still in
when Jared Goff was absolute dog water.
Yeah, and he had Jeff Fisher as his coach.
Jeff Fisher was the head coach.
Yeah, they had an interim coach because Jeff Fisher had already gotten fired. But we have one win against Jared Goff. We have one win. Look at us go.
Dallas now. He's now in Dallas. He's special teams coach in Dallas. John Fossil.
John Fossil. Yeah, John Fossil.
Yeah. I remember. I watched the what was it? The Amazon special. I forget the name of it, but they followed the team for the whole year, and I remember Fisher. I felt bad for him, and then after he gets fired, he has this
all or nothing.
All or nothing. I think he has this cabin and he's just fishing. I'm like, I don't feel too bad for him. He got his full contract, so he got a raise before that season, and he ended up getting his full contract. So, it's kind of hard.
Can we go back to the Jeff Fisher days when we can actually beat the Rams? Can we go back to those days? Jesus Christ, it's been annoying every year.
Hey, at least you don't got to be worrying about beating a team in week 1 and then losing to that same team with the same roster in the later half of the season.
You play the Jets twice. You get a pass. I play in the NFC West.
Well, I got to ask, Homeland, since Red Sea said he agreed with everything I said, he did put a comment in my video. I did get some thumbs down on my Patriots video, so I got to ask, were you one of the people that disagreed with what I said?
Actually, no. You actually made some very good points, specifically with Cam Newton. I understand where you're coming from. Cam Newton is not the franchise guy. He's not. You wouldn't have drafted Mac Jones if he was the franchise guy. Okay? It's as simple as that. Granted, you could have easily picked up a young guy in free agency. As much as I hate to say it, Mitchell Trubisky was definitely an option. But,
please,
it's a good thing you didn't. It's a good thing you didn't because I don't like Mitchell Trubisky. Mitchell Trubisky made a terrible decision going to Buffalo. I don't know what the heck he's going to get out of that. Anyways. But no, I think your biggest point was regarding Cam Newton, and it made absolute sense. Cam Newton has, granted, I think you should cut him a little slack compared to last year. Last year he definitely made some interesting choices, but I think that in reality it wasn't his fault. I think you should really cut him some slack. He was completely adjusted to a new scheme. I think this season is where you can really sit down and judge him. If he's bad, then If he's bad, you're going to start Mac Jones. It's as simple as that. Mac Jones has proven that he has the very much latent potential to start in the NFL, but I do not think he is ready. Give him a couple weeks, really get to adjusting to the starters, not the preseason lineup, the starters. If he really meshes and becomes that number one quarterback, then, I wouldn't say we're set for the playoffs, like a deep run in the playoffs. But I think in the next few years, we make at least a brief appearance in the playoffs.
Well, if you take a look at if you want to throw Watson in there, I wouldn't hate that completely. And if I remember right, he got injured, I think, 4 or 5 weeks into his rookie season. But the best quarterbacks in the NFL have sat. You got Mahomes, you got Rodgers, you can throw Brady in that conversation. These guys. Is that?
Corey, you're echoing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. You want to have your guy sit. You want to have your guy, your quarterback sit for a year, and that's kind of what I thought would be the best move. Or you could do like what the Dolphins did and start them halfway through the season. I think that kind of going off in a different direction. I think that's what's going to happen with San Francisco and Trey Lance. I think after the bye, he'll end up starting. Alex says, I know y'all ain't baseball fans, but I'd be encouraged watching the Field of Dreams series with the Yankees facing off against the White Sox. All right. I don't follow baseball, but hey, listen, if you're a baseball fan, go ahead and check and watch it. Golf isn't top 15, is he?
No.
I would put him at the very bottom of the 15, but I actually think he is top 15, to be perfectly honest. But we'll find out this year. But I got two guys in my threesome that say golf is not top 15, and Red Sea seem more
just outside the top.
Just 15. Outside of 15. Okay. Won't last the 2 seasons.
I don't think he's exactly top 15, but he's right outside. Mike, you're saying that because you're a Dolphins fan, okay? You're saying that because you're a Dolphins fan. Shut up.
Mike, if you don't want to tell anybody, do shoot me a message privately. Are you putting action on that Week 1 game? I'm dying to know. Or it'd be great if you are putting it in there. But I'm actually curious if you're going to bet on that game. That's an interesting Week 1 game. If you don't know, Miami travels to New England Week 1.
Oh, Week 1.
I think it'll be exactly how it usually is. We're going to beat Miami Week 1, and then we're going to lose to them later on in the season. That's usually how it goes.
Yep.
If I remember correctly, isn't it the last game of the season that you go down to South Beach? Is it the last game of the season?
I'm pretty sure it's the last game of the season. It's either that or it's New York.
Yeah, I can't remember. I want to say they open the season hosting Miami, and I think they end the season in Miami. I am lying if I said I had that memorized. I'm actually got the schedule right here, though. Yeah, that's right. They end the season in Miami, and they actually, contrary, even when Brady was there, they did lose that game quite often. It was kind of
you put Rob Gronkowski at safety. I don't know what position you think that was a good idea.
I still draw question marks about that. I've all the as Belichick, one of the greatest coaches of all time, that didn't make a lot of sense to me. My boy Tim, I've known Tim for a very, very long time. He says, "What's up? Great show, guys." He was ready to stay up till 1 a.m. watching Mountain West College football. Tim, I am going to sign up tonight for cable, and I'm going to start DVRing lots of football. By the way, off-topic conversation, I love Mountain West football. Love Mountain West football. A lot of exciting games. So, Mike says, I like Mac Jones, but seriously doubt he starts.
No, he's not going.
No, he's not starting. That's going to be Cam.
We all believe that he's
the second Cam has a multiple interception game, Mac Jones is coming in.
That's exactly how it's going to be too.
See, I think that you're going to see Cam at least for the first several weeks get.
Definitely.
And there is a chance that somewhere in mid-season Mac will get the start, but I think the perfect situation for the New England Patriots and Mac Jones is that he starts in 2022.
Yeah, that's probably the best case scenario. Because so this is another thing I wanted to talk about during the preseason game. Cam Newton was not bad. Granted, it was preseason, but he was not bad. That first drive was not his fault.
That. So this is why I want you on here. So Cam looked good.
I wouldn't say he looked good. I wouldn't say he looked
right
bad.
In the middle.
He was right in the middle. Because Corey, you can agree with me on this. That first drive was
I didn't watch the first. I didn't watch the first
drive was not his fault. Isaiah Wynn sold big time and let Chase Young get directly past him and sacked Cam Newton from the blind side, which forced an incomplete pass. That would have been a fumble, but because of the tuck rule, or not, I don't think it was. It wasn't tuck rule. He was throwing the ball at the same time, and it was ruled an incomplete pass. That was not Cam's fault at all. There was an incompletion that Cam threw, I believe, on second down, which I honestly don't think that was his fault either. Bostic, who is a former Patriot, was right on Jonnu Smith. Had he thrown that ball, it would have been a gain of 0 yards probably, unless he broke the tackle, which was very, very unlikely. So it was not a bad completion by any means. Definitely made some really smart passes, smart short passes on his second drive. So he's drastically improved. Drastically improved.
Well, I think that's the number one thing you want to look at is, it looked like last year they were really kind of hamstrung. And keep in mind, I don't think it was completely Cam's fault. He was injured. He was there late. He got COVID. But you want to see him play better this year than he did last year. And I think it's in the Patriots' best interest. And I also think to help Mac Jones out a lot, to watch how a former NFL MVP, an iconic player, plays the quarterback position for one full year. I think that's in his best interest to just not to be put in a pressure-packed situation of being able to start. And unless they're 5-10 late in the season and he starts, because if Mac Jones does play in the middle of the season, he's going to be expected to take that team to the playoffs, and I think that's too much to ask.
That's way too much to ask of a rookie quarterback. I'm sorry. He's not Trevor Lawrence. He's not. Because I know a lot of Jacksonville fans are expecting.
I don't even think Trevor's getting there.
I mean, do we really think Trevor Lawrence is expected to go to the playoffs?
Absolutely not.
Not this season. Not this season.
No,
maybe in a few seasons.
Yeah, exactly. And Mike also let us know that he did bet over 9, which I'm doing Miami Monday, but I'm going to let you know in advance, Mike. I think that's a smart move. And if I remember correct, you got 20-1 odds to win the Super Bowl. Another smart bet. You're getting excellent value there. And then Alex is promoting the. I know nothing about baseball, so I've never even heard of this. But the Field of Dreams game, which is pretty cool. I have no idea what that is. But hey, Alex. All right. For those of you that watch baseball, I know nothing about it. Unfortunately, Funk even admits that this is an excellent series too. And the Finns are so young they can't help but improve a lot. And
not if your quarterback cannot throw more than 5 yards down the field.
That was another thing, and it was one thing I really couldn't stand what Miami did last year. You had a guy coming off of an injury. I remember
scary injury too. It was bad.
It was 3-3 with Fitzpatrick. It's not like you were playing bad football. He didn't even have a full off season. I mean, forget the COVID stuff. He was recovering from an injury, and you want to play him. I think it was week 6 or week 7. I thought that was a massive mistake.
The week before we played them, I think it was week 8, actually, because I think we played them in week 9.
8? Okay.
We lost because our kicker can't kick.
But, I mean, I thought it was just way too much for the Dolphins to ask of Tua to come in. So I thought that Tua would have been better off sitting the whole season, which is what I recommend the Patriots do with Mac Jones. And I throwing it out there, that's what the Chiefs did with Patrick Mahomes, and that seemed to work out pretty good. So, but I do agree with you, Mike, is that there's a lot of youth on that team, and they should be better.
Keyword should.
Exactly. And Mike, 33-1. That's a phenomenal number. It's excellent value. So 20 to win 660. For those of you who do not do any sports betting,
me,
I can tell you right now, this is a phenomenal bet. 33-1 odds on a team that won 10 games. That's young. That's got a lot of improving. This is a smart bet. So, especially when it's $20, Mike's loaded. So, and then Alex, I might be interested more in baseball if my Tigers might hit. All right, I don't know anything about baseball, so what I'm going to do is next week I'm doing Miami is Monday, and I believe Indianapolis will be Wednesday, and then Friday is the Bears. So I'm going to have 3 videos, and I'm toying around with doing them as just shorts and not going into detail, just breaking them down, just 3 points, rapid fire. And I thought my Raiders video was going to be about 10 minutes, ended up being 17. So I don't know. I might have to do them in a little shorter pick. We'll have to wait and see. But I will have those 3 videos out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm double checking to make sure I have the. I was going to give you the list, but I pulled up the wrong thing here. Pretty sure. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's Miami, Washington, and Chicago. Okay, so I'll be doing the Washington football team Wednesday. So I was almost right. Almost.
Close enough.
But I am toying around with making the videos a little shorter. I didn't realize that I kind of ramble on when I do these videos. It's something I do enjoy. To be perfectly honest, my favorite thing about the YouTube channel is doing the live stream. I'm really glad I got to have a threesome with Homeland and Red Sea coming in. Before I drop off, because I did want to get off a little earlier than normal, I did want to go ahead and I have to get set up so I can watch some preseason football and get caught up. I'm setting it up tonight. So I am going to watch some preseason football tonight.
You better be watching our game next week. You better be watching that game.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm going to have that on DVR. For those of you who don't know, next Friday the Chiefs and Cardinals are going to be.
Are you going to Arizona, or are we coming to Arrowhead?
I believe we're going there. And another thing, I'm actually curious how you guys are going to handle it. It's going to be our second game. And with only 3 preseason games, it's going to be our dress rehearsal game.
Yeah, it's probably going to be the dress rehearsal game, and then the third preseason game will be a bunch of people you don't know who won't make the team anyway.
Exactly, so. and that's there's several things with the Chiefs preseason game that I'm kind of curious about. Tentatively, and I say tentatively, I have a guest coming on next Friday. It's a Big Chief Sean. Me and him met. He's a Chiefs fan. Does has a YouTube channel. He's supposed to come on next week. He was going to come on this week, but he wanted to talk about his Chiefs. However, I want to before ideally that's going to happen. Hopefully that will still happen. Be kind of a different type of show because he talks about the Arrowhead experience in his YouTube channel. So we'll try to keep the conversation AFC related. My goal is I don't want to bring on another Chiefs fan and just talk Chiefs the whole show, even though I know.
Yeah, because the Patriots fan to my left, he would not like that stream.
Hey, we could talk about the Steelers all day. We could talk about them real quick.
Well, the show next week, we're going to try to broaden it out and discuss about the AFC because, but ideally, even though the Chiefs are playing tomorrow, I will have a guest who is a big Chiefs fan on next week. Hopefully, that will still happen. I will be on because I will have my DVR set.
Please tell me he caught that.
To go. Say what? Oh,
I think he's watching the game.
I'm watching the game. Oh my God, that was a great interception. If he caught that.
Okay, because I am very excited about the preseason football for my Chiefs, but I'm going to have the game on DVR, so I'm still going to be on live. Ideally, I'll have Big Chief Sean on with me, and we'll go ahead and we'll talk about the AFC in general. It's not going to be just Chiefs related, even though you do have 2 Chiefs fans talking. So obviously, we're going to bring up the Chiefs more than one. So hopefully, the Homeland is. Hopefully, you're not too turned off by it. Alex is going to drop off. Alex, I will see you next Friday in our AFC show, where we'll try not to talk too much about the Kansas City Chiefs and Denver Gator, who's
you're right, Denver.
He's a huge Chiefs fan.
He's a Chiefs and LSU fan. That's exactly what he is.
17 minutes is not nearly enough time to talk trash about the Raiders. Actually, Denver Gator, I'd love to know your opinion of my Raiders assessment. I actually like the Raiders a little more than I was expecting when I kind of dove into some detail about them. But guys, if there's anything else, I was going to wrap up the show a little earlier. I wanted to try to keep it under an hour and a half. I know we got some preseason football in under 30 minutes. I know Corey wants to go ahead and take a look at
27 minutes. I got 27 minutes to kill.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead. If anybody's got some late questions, we're more than happy to go ahead and answer those. I'm going to get my DVR set up because I want to watch that game. I'm actually kind of curious about it. And then, of course, Saturday will be my Chiefs playing against the 49ers. And hopefully Trey Lance looks awesome because I have been telling everybody for months now I'm taking under. Now it's 10.5 wins for the San Francisco 49ers. So
I just want to say this. For all you people out there, if you do want to join a Madden franchise with myself and the unfortunate Cardinals fan to my right, you can check or message me on Instagram. He and I can get you set up. Just let us know.
It has to be on Xbox. The Patriots and Cardinals will be taken. We do realistic franchises, a.k.a. you have to pick your actual players, as in part of Madden 21. Madden 22, that wouldn't matter. But you have to pick the players that you have. You have to make realistic decisions. A friend of ours trying to justify that trading for the entire Cowboys offensive line and Bobby Wagner was a realistic trade.
Don't forget Khalil Mack, Myles Garrett, Aaron Donald, Stephon Gilmore. He tried to trade Stephon. He tried to get me to take Stephon Gilmore. Not happening. So
mind you, he was playing as the Giants, which he said was his favorite team, and then 2 weeks later, he's like, "Oh, the Seahawks are my favorite team now." Yeah, right, so he's one of those fans.
If you join, it's got to be realistic. And by the way, both links to both the Homeland and Red Sea, their Instagram links are at the bottom of the description, so you can go ahead and join them up, shoot them a message. That's how we communicate. So hit these.
You're gonna be confused when you look at my Instagram and see bowling, but that is me. That is me. I don't have a football page yet.
The picture's cool. It's just it took a second for me. I highlighted the actual. I actually highlighted the actual the Cardinals head in there. So I think it's pretty cool. But I didn't see the first time I saw it. I was like, "What the hell is this?" And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, it's a selfie of me with my Cardinals mask, Cardinals hat, and Cardinals hoodie, and I just grayscaled it.
It's black and white. I think it's pretty cool personally. It took me. I was like, "Where the hell?" And then like, there's the Cardinals logo on there. I think it's pretty cool. And then obviously, as you can see, the Homeland's got tons of Patriots stuff on there. So you obviously know it's a Patriots fan.
Yep. Don't ask where his profile picture came from. I wonder who did that. Totally not me.
Shut up.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. But on the way out, don't forget, give me a thumbs up. Next week, I will be here live. I'll have the Chiefs game on DVR. Big Chief Sean tentatively will also be here on the show where we will talk to AFC. It will not be a Chiefs-centered conversation. But, hey, it's 2 Chiefs fans, so, we'll probably bring up a Mahomes once or twice. So, anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Hey, guys, have a great week, and I will see you again Friday.